What's up, everybody? Well, I got another FIREBAT mini PC gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're gonna try out Subnautica Below Zero again. So hopefully we'll be able to play. Last time we were able to play at 720p, but none of the rest of the settings really worked so well on this thing, if I recall. But hey, this one seemed to run a little better on the Steam Deck. Maybe it'll run a little bit better on here. So let's go hop in and find out. Well, all right, we're gonna start with 1080p with the high graphics settings. Oops. Oh, I forgot. It doesn't like working with the controller after I hit my keyboard combination to start the recording. Well, whatever. We'll just use the keyboard and mouse. Not a big deal. Easier to actually control and show you guys this shit anyway, rather than using the controller. Controller's just easier while I stand here. I have to crouch down and contort myself into an uncomfortable position to do this. But anyway, to the game. Well, here we go. We can't quite get playable FPS everywhere, but I'm sure there's some people that would be able to play this like this, no problem. And remember, we are using OBS, so add like 3 or 4 more FPS to what we're getting right now. So that's why even at 24, it'd be like 29 or something like that. So that's why I said I'm sure there's plenty of people that'd still be fine with this, but there's going to be spots where it'll probably drop down to 25 or something, but I doubt those will be super prevalent, but I could be wrong too. It's not like I've been through the whole thing, just forewarning. Whew. That stuff is a spicy meatball. But damn does it taste good. Honestly, it tastes like you're smoking candy. Anyway though, let us move along. Well, now for 900p medium settings, which I think does a little bit better. At least stays playable FPS. But I don't think it gets us 60 plus the whole time. Could be wrong, but judging by what we're seeing right here, I doubt. But hey, let's stop labbing and let's get back to the game and let's go find out. Here we go. 900p now. And remember, we are using OBS, so it does take away a few FPS. But yeah, we actually are staying like around 60 plus. Cool. I'll take that. I bet you there's some spots that'll still drop, but the majority of the time it seems more than fine. Though I do remember correctly, it starts doing that stupid stutter crap. But I think that's because we start running out of VRAM. But then 720p isn't so bad. I think it still does a little itty bitty bit, but it's to the point where a game like this is not a first-person shooter. I'd still be fine playing it. And it wasn't as bad as usual anyway. But yeah, that's the thing's downfall for me. If it would actually give me a full 8 gigs of VRAM, I think it would do way better in these games. Unless it is because of throttling. There's so many different opinions on why it does what it does. Some people say it's throttling, some people say it's some other nonsense in Windows. Some people say it's the RAM or the SSD throttling, but when I've had HW info up, I didn't really see any red. Usually that thing will be red, and I never saw it say anything about throttling. But maybe there's just some sensor that it doesn't look at, and it just dictates, hey, it's too hot, I'm gonna start throttling this bitch. Who knows? I am not the people that made the thing, so I don't know. But someone also suggested you could always just get an external GPU, and then that would then we'd be able to test and say, hey, if it still does it, then it's got nothing to do with the VRAM or any of that shit. It'll probably be the one dude is probably right. It's probably something throttling. Just because it's getting too hot. Now, I could try pasting, but I don't think that'll help much. I bet you the little fan and heatsink combo is just probably too weak for this setup. Even though it's big and huge, I thought, oh man, this thing should absolutely curb stomp all those other smaller ones, but I think those probably get better temps. They're probably louder, but they probably get better temps, and probably don't have to deal with all the nonsense I do on this thing. But they also cost more. So I figured, hey, people would probably like this, and all I need is for it to upload to YouTube. I don't even need it to game. I just started gaming because people were curious. But originally, I was never going to play any games on this thing in the first place. But it's nice to see that it can. Maybe not the best, but it still can. Anyway, though, why don't we go try dropping it down to a little 720p low setting? Well, alright. Now here's 720p, and this is probably going to get us the best FPS. I think it still has a little bit of an FPS frame time issue. Or FPS, not an FPS issue, and a frame time issue. As you will see. But it's not really that big of a deal. It's not as bad as it usually is, and this is not exactly like a first-person shooter where we have to have 200 FPS all the times or we're going to die, you know? So, let's hop into the game, though, and see how it does, shall we? Here we are, 720p. And at least for now, the frame times are alright. Oh, never mind. There they go. I spokes too soon. But, like I said, see, they're not that awful. I could still play like this if this was my only system, and this is probably how I'd play most of the time. 720p low. And just be happy I can play games. I mean, heck, way back in the day when I was like a real little kid, my first computer was like an IBM. And it was not very powerful. It could play like original Warcraft and Warcraft 2, Diablo. I don't think it could even have handled Diablo 2, actually. But it could handle Diablo, the original Need for Speed, that kind of stuff. And those are the kind of computers I had for the longest time before I learned how to like build my own. I think it was right around 2001, 99 to 2001 when I actually built my first one all by myself. Other than that, I just upgraded ones I already had. I put different GPUs in, upgraded the RAM, upgraded the drives. I did all that. But up until around then, I did not really build my own. And I still remember the first one I built had a single core. Oh, why hello, Meston. You're gonna come up here and give me some laps? Nothing wrong with that. You can come up here. You just can't be bitey. Yeah. No, you don't want fries. Heck, I don't even know if I want those anymore. Those have been out for a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but fries are only good if they're warm. Once they get cold, they're kind of disgusting. That's at least my opinion on the matter. So before I consume them, I'm going to put them in my weird microwave that can like bake things. I think they call it like an inverter oven or something like that. Because if you put it in a normal microwave, it's just going to make them all soggy and gross. Yeah, it'll heat them up, but then they'll be soggy, and that's not much better. They're a very fickle thing. It's almost like they're only good when they're fresh and then they're done. Alright, though. Why don't we go ahead and move on to some camera? Alright. Let's get a little camera recorded gameplay now. Still trying to figure out where the heck to get that sulfur from. I never did end up looking it up in the first game. I was stubborn. But when I play them for real, I will do that. Until then, it's like, eh. Yeah, it's no wonder the icebergs screwed up the Titanic. Look at how big this thing is underneath the ice. You'd never know it. I'm curious, what does it look like on the surface? Okay, well, in my defense, I would not want to go anywhere near that in a boat, but if it only had like a little tiny bit sticking out, like just like a little bit here, it would still have all that. That's just a gnarly frickin' iceberg altogether. Alright, I gotta watch out for those things. Those things keep stealing my shit. Need to find the rest of the pieces to that freaking sea thing, too. But yeah, 720p seems to be more than playable. Has a little stutter here and there, but for the most part, more than playable. And at 720p, you could probably get away with having a couple settings turned up, too. Especially if you don't care about 60 FPS or any of that. Because not everybody does, especially on a system like this. You can't be too choosy. If this was my own system, I'd just be happy I can play games at all. That's how I would be. Huh. I think I already went to that. Maybe I didn't get all the stuff I was supposed to get. Alright. Start going up before we are drowned here.
Oxygen.
I know, I'm going. Yeah, I'm almost positive that's that place I've already been. I'm more interested in finding that little sea thing. The rest of the documentation. I think I should have to scan one more part of it and I can make one. And that would make things so much cooler. And then I could probably go into a cave and still be fast enough to get back up. I'd like to have a little bit more air too, but if as long as I have that, I think I'd be pretty good. And since this place over here seems to at least have power, I should be able to charge my stuff up. I think the other one I didn't repair in the first game, so it was sitting there. I kept on never being able to recharge my stuff. I had to keep making more versions of like the scanner and whatnot.
Oxygen.
But alright, I think that's probably good for camcorder gameplay, so why don't we go ahead and wrap this video on up? Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Subnautica Below Zero on the FIREBAT Mini PC, and it was actually very similar to the first game, at least on here. We were like getting, you know, not really playable FPS at 1080p high, which I was expecting. 900p medium was pretty playable, but there's definitely gonna be spots where it drops under 60 for sure. But not everybody cares about 60 FPS, so that's the one I would do if you're one of those people. And then 720p low seemed like it would be staying over 60 the whole time, and didn't look spectacular on a big old TV like this, but I don't think it would look that bad because it didn't look that bad on the Steam Deck at 720p. So I doubt anything up to like maybe like a 10, maybe 14-inch screen, it probably wouldn't look that bad. And even at up to 24, probably wouldn't look completely awful, but anything over like 15, 16, you're gonna start noticing, okay, yeah, that doesn't look all that spectacular. But in any case though, that is all I got for you guys for this particular video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.